Okay, hello everybody. Today we're gonna be doing a bit of different kind of tier list today. So as you can see, we've got void items and their normal counterparts, and we're gonna be comparing them and seeing which one you should pick up instead. Cause it took me a lot of time to understand which one to pick up. Of course, there are situations where one is really, you have to pick it up over the other. But we're gonna talk about consistency here, and we're gonna talk about which one is better and which one you should get, and basically my opinion on everything. And surely I have tried most of these, if not every one of them. So first of all, we have a benthic bloom versus its normal counterpart, 57 leaf clover. Now let's just get this straightforward. Now, my reasoning for putting 57 leaf clover on pickup instead is that 57 leaf clover is more consistent and you have more control over it. Of course, it is great for proc builds and can proc nearly most of the stuff, an ATG, a ukulele, a runic lens. It can it can literally do anything, and it's such a good item, very good for proc builds. So yeah, and like benthic bloom, you have no control over it. Benthic, sure, runs are very fun. Benthic bloom runs, but if you're in a normal game, you hop on. I think 57 leaf clover has to be better than benthic bloom, no matter what. Next up, we have encrusted key versus rusted key. Now, I think encrusted. Now, I think encrusted key is better because one, you have a choice, and two, you have a choice to pick up an item from the best loot pool ever, which is the void item loot pool. Void items are probably the best items in the game. Complete upgrades to their counterparts, which is insane, and you have a choice as well. So you can just literally do make any build with it, and having an encrusted key and stacking them up and getting like um, good void items every single, like stacking up the good void items is pretty cool. Encrusted key, I think, might be the second or maybe the third best void item in the game because it allows you to create those builds. Next up, we have the Lost Seer versus the Lens Maker's Glasses. Now, always I recommend picking up Lens Makers because Lens Makers are like the backbone of every build. They are a simple yet very strong item, doubling your damage, giving you a 10% chance to crit, which is very good. I mean, it's so good. It is a very good item. But I think with characters like Bandit who already have guaranteed crits, and if you have Gesture of Drown and um, Ocular HUD, if you could make a build out of these two, like having an Ocular HUD and some gestures, or and some fuel cells, or maybe a um a uh like if you have less uptime on your ocular HUD, then or you're maybe bandit, I think you shouldn't pick up lens makers because you already have 100% crit and you do not need it that much. So I would rather pick up Lost Seer because it's basically good AoE to some extent because it has a 0.5% chance to kill. But yeah, you're if you're a bandit, then you should 100% pick up Lost Seer, and if you're not, but you have a gesture and a ocular HUD, then you should definitely pick up Lost Year instead. But most of the times you won't find these items. Of course, you can pick a Bandit, but you won't. If you're not playing Bandit, then most of the time you have to pick up Lens Makers. They're like an essential for a normal Risk of Rain build, and they're very like they're the backbone of every build, predominantly. Like they're the probably one of the items you'd be excited to see coming out of the chest. Next up, we have Lysate Cell and Fuel Cell. Now, this is the only item that has a tie. I wanted to do no BS and do night. I wanted to do no BS, no nothing. I was gonna be like, there's gonna be one item better than the other, or more consistent than the other. Of course, there's situations, but I think Light Cell and Fuel Cell come. They like it. It's a tie because some builds require more charges of your equipment. They rely on you more towards the equipment, and some builds rely more towards the special ability. Like Light Cell would be pretty good on um operator if you have two amp cores inside the teleporter event, the teleport radius. It's very good. It's great AoE. And railgunner, it's gonna be very good on railgunner. It's gonna be very good on bandit. It's gonna be very good on huntress. All these ones. And some don't need nicest cell like void fiend. Accurate maybe because his epidemic. I mean, getting a second chart of his epidemic won't do that much. Yeah. So some are reliant on equipment and some are reliant on your um special ability. So it basically depends on the character, situation, and build you're running. So this is a tie. You cannot say one's better over the other because there are different situations in this game, and there's probably different RNG, of course. So yeah, you cannot mix these both up. You cannot say one is better than the other. Next up, we have Needle Tick versus the Tri-Tip Dagger. Now, I like Tri-Tip Dagger. This is a very close competition in my opinion. I like Tri-Tip Dagger a lot. Tri-Tip Dagger is a very good item, but I think Needle Tick's Collapse debuff is better than Bleed. Collapse overall does more damage and I think is stackable more easily. No, that's BS. You can stack Bleed more easily, but at the end of the day, I think almost any survivor would benefit from Collapse more than Tri-Tip. So I think I'm gonna put Collapse over Tri-Tip. Alright, next up we have the newly hatched Zoa versus some of the most powerful items in the game, not to be neglected. Never pick up this ever. Like, bro, why is a pile of um, why is bro, like you should not be picking up Zoa over any yellow item. I don't care if it's defense nucleus, I don't care if it's BG. I don't You should not be picking up Zoa. It prevents you from getting the most important and good items in the game to your build, like the perforators, sauteed worms eventually, empathy cores, functional coupler. So yeah, yeah, should never be picking up Zoa over normal yellow items. Next up, we have Plimp versus the ATG. Now, Plimp Plimp will be always better than ATG in my opinion. Always, always. Which it is. But unless you have a 57 leaf clover. If you have a 57 leaf clover, then you should not be picking up Plimp But if you don't, then always pick up Plimp, because Plimp is better than ATG 100%. Has the coolest tech in the game with Polyloot, best synergy with Polyloot. I think it's a very good item overall. Such a cool one. Gives you an insane damage boost. Put a ICBM and mix it up with a Polyloot. That's the best combo. That's my favorite combo in the game by far. Alright, next up we have the pluripotent larva or Plura versus the Dios. Now the Dios just gives you a simple benefit, which is cheating death. But Plura has some cool tech. You can pick up normal items and then die and then get their and then die and then never die again because you have the strongest items. Like what it does is it's basically once you die corrupts all of your items that are corruptible and gives you a 3-second barrier. So Plorva in this case would be better because it gives you better items. It's just a very good item overall, but make sure you don't corrupt your bands with it. Next up, we have Polyloot versus Ukulele. Now, I've heard this going on that you should be getting Ukulele if you don't have AoE. You should be getting Ukulele on characters like Railgunner, Loader. But I think that getting a uke when you have a gasoline and an ignition tank is overkill. If you have gasoline, ignition tank, Chiaro's bands, heck, even a networked suffering, behemoth, ceremonial daggers, there's so many much more better AoE items in the game, in my opinion, than ukulele. And missing out on the damage the Polyloot provides is detrimental to your run. So yeah, you should always be getting Polyloot over ukulele on any survivor, anytime, any day. Next up, we have the safer spaces versus the tougher times. Now, it's a common belief that safer spaces is 100% better than tougher times. So, you should always be picking up safer spaces instead of tougher times because safer spaces gives you permanent damage blockage, permanent damage obstruction every 15 seconds, whether it's one like they're doing 1 damage or 1 billion. It doesn't matter. It's gonna block it no matter what. Every 15 seconds, and it stacks pretty well. mm, Decreasing the cooldown by 10%. So it's not much, but post loop you're gonna have a lot of them and you're gonna be invincible. So yeah, it's very good. Next up we have Singularity Band, which is the two best items in the game single-handedly. They are the best items in the game. Charos and Brunaud Band, better known as the Wedding Bands. Now I think the Singularity Band is poo dog water. Unless you haven't got the bands yet. If you're post loop and you're struggling, get the Singularity Band. Unless we always pick up the Wedding Bands, they are single-handedly the best item in the game. So, alright, next up we have Tentabobble versus the Chronobobble. This is simple. Tenta gives you root, meaning it stops the enemy from moving at all. Chronobobble, it decreases their movement speed by 60%. Just by that alone on paper, you could tell which item is better, and even if you've tried it, Tenta is better, looks cooler. Yeah, it's just better. And it also counts towards depth mark, so beautiful. Next up, we have Wungus versus Bungus. Yeah, this is simple. Unless you're engineer, always pick up Wungus. Wongus is a great item. We love Wongus. We love to see it. And if you're engineer, always pick up Bungus. If you're not engineered, Wongus is always better. Now we have the last matchup between Will o' the Wisp versus Void Sent Flame. Now, Will o' the Wisp is an item which is our on kill item. So if you kill an enemy, he explodes for 300 plus damage, I think, 300% damage. It is good AoE, but I think you can benefit from Void Sent Flame more. Because Void Sent Flame um, does its effect when a monster or an enemy is above 90% health. So you can benefit from bosses with Voice and Flame. You can benefit from um, most enemies, and you can. It even works with Ignition Tank. So yeah, it's overall better AOE. That's what I'm saying. This is why you should be picking up Balaloot over Ukulele, because yeah, Balaloot is just better. I think Balaloot has to be single-handedly the best void item in the game. It's my favorite, along with Plimp. Yeah. Okay. Alright, so this is the final tier list. So as you can see, you have. Let's see if you have more void items in the pickup instead tier or in do not pick up. So in do not pick up, from the top of my mind, I think I could do four. Yes, four. Four void items in do not pick up. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Majority of the void items are in pickup instead. So yeah, you should be picking up void items more. But there are some exceptions, of course. So yeah, this was my tier list, and I hope you like it. I hope you agree with me. If you do not, and if there's any ambiguity in it, you can drop to the comments and give your side of the story. But yeah, this is the tier list. I'm quite proud of it. I think I've done a good job. Yeah, goodbye, everybody. Hope you have a good day. And players can reign too. It's a great game.